I was 7 months pregnant, carrying groceries up 3 flights of stairs while my partner was nowhere to be found. The story begins with protagonist Rachel, who is 7 months pregnant with her first child. She's living in a small, walk-up apartment on the 3rd floor, which would have been increasingly difficult for her to navigate, especially with the extra weight of carrying groceries. Rachel reflects on her life before pregnancy, when she was independent, carefree, and focused on her career. As Rachel struggles with the physical demands of pregnancy, she notices how much her body has changed. She's exhausted, frequently dealing with back pain, and feeling more vulnerable than ever. Her relationship with Tom, her partner, has become strained, as he doesn't seem to fully understand the difficulties she's facing. Rachel begins to feel isolated, wondering if her partner truly grasps the magnitude of what she's going through. Rachel recounts how Tom, who has always been distant, has become even more inattentive since she became pregnant. He's rarely home, often working late, and when he is home, he spends more time on his phone than supporting Rachel. She's left to manage everything on her own, and the burden is weighing heavily on her. The relationship that once felt like a partnership now feels more like an obligation. One day, after Tom has once again failed to offer any help, Rachel struggles up the 3 flights of stairs with bags of groceries in her arms. She's winded, frustrated, and overwhelmed. Her emotions boil over, and she feels a surge of resentment toward Tom. This event serves as a wake-up call for her. She realizes that her independence is being stripped away, and she can no longer rely on Tom in the way she once did. Rachel breaks down emotionally after carrying the groceries up the stairs. As she sits on the floor, crying, she wonders whether she made a mistake in choosing to be with Tom. She starts questioning her choices, her future, and whether she is capable of navigating motherhood on her own. Tom walks in, sees her distress, and, for the first time in months, tries to console her. But his actions feel hollow, and Rachel is left with more questions than answers. Rachel reaches out to her friends for support. She vents about her relationship struggles and the difficulties of being pregnant, with little help from Tom. Her friends listen sympathetically, and some share their own experiences of similar challenges in their relationships. Rachel finds comfort in their words, but she also begins to realize that she may need to make some hard decisions about her future with Tom. The tension in the apartment grows. Tom's indifference to Rachel's emotional and physical struggles becomes more evident. He stops even pretending to care, and Rachel feels like she's living in a hostile environment. The once loving moments between them are now replaced with cold silences and passive-aggressive comments. Rachel feels alone, even when Tom is right next to her. Rachel is hit by waves of fatigue, emotional swings, and constant discomfort. She feels like she's losing herself in the process of growing a baby and taking care of everything alone. Despite the love she feels for her unborn child, she begins to doubt whether she can truly handle motherhood on her own, especially without the support of her partner. In a rare moment, Tom surprises Rachel by bringing home dinner after she's had a particularly tough day. It's a small gesture, but it makes Rachel feel seen and appreciated for the first time in a long while. However, the fleeting kindness only highlights how much she's been missing from the relationship, and she can't help but wonder if this is enough to salvage what they have left. One night, after a long day, Rachel snaps. She demands an honest conversation with Tom about their relationship and his lack of support. Tom, caught off guard, tries to justify his actions by blaming his work stress and claiming that he doesn't know how to help. Rachel's frustration peaks as she realizes that Tom's inability to communicate and his failure to recognize her needs have become too much for her to bear. Rachel has an epiphany after their argument. She realizes that she's been holding on to a relationship that no longer serves her, and she begins to question whether staying in this situation is in the best interest of her and her child. The idea of navigating motherhood with a partner who is emotionally unavailable feels increasingly impossible, and Rachel starts thinking about her options. Rachel begins to take steps toward reclaiming her independence. She starts organizing her life without relying on Tom, focusing on preparing for the baby. She begins researching childcare, finding support groups for new mothers, and making plans to ensure that she's financially prepared to be a single mother if need be. The act of taking control gives her a sense of empowerment that she hasn't felt in months. Rachel sits down with Tom and lays everything out. She tells him that she needs him to step up and be the partner she deserves. She explains that she can't continue to carry the emotional and physical weight of the relationship while also preparing for motherhood. Tom reacts defensively at first, but begins to understand the gravity of the situation as Rachel continues to speak from the heart. While the conversation is difficult, it marks a turning point in their relationship. After their talk, Tom makes some attempts to improve his behavior. He helps around the apartment more, attends doctor's appointments with Rachel, and begins to show more concern for her well-being. However, Rachel remains skeptical. While his efforts are appreciated, she knows that these changes may not be enough to heal the deeper issues in their relationship. Rachel and Tom decide to take a temporary break from each other to give both of them space to reflect. Rachel spends more time with friends and family, focusing on herself and her pregnancy. During this time apart, she gains clarity on her feelings and begins to recognize that her happiness doesn't solely depend on Tom. As Rachel's pregnancy progresses, she begins to embrace her growing strength and resilience. She takes pride in her ability to handle the physical and emotional tolls of pregnancy on her own. She starts to feel more connected to her baby and begins looking forward to motherhood with excitement and hope, regardless of what happens with Tom. Rachel makes a decision. She cannot continue in a relationship where her needs are not being met. She realizes that she deserves a partner who will truly support her, and she's ready to move forward as a single mother if necessary. The decision is empowering, but it's also incredibly difficult. She knows that it will be hard to walk away from the life she had envisioned, but she believes it's the right choice for her and her child. Rachel ends things with Tom. The breakup is emotional but necessary. Tom is shocked, and while he expresses regret, Rachel knows that this is the only way forward for her. They part ways with a sense of finality, and Rachel is left to navigate her future alone, but with a renewed sense of strength. Rachel focuses on building a solid support system. She reconnects with family members who are excited to help her prepare for motherhood. She also joins a local support group for pregnant women and single mothers. These connections give her a sense of community and assurance that she will not have to face motherhood alone. Rachel starts preparing for the arrival of her baby. She buys baby clothes, sets up the nursery, and organizes everything she will need to care for her child. As she prepares, she feels more confident in her ability to be a mother. The physical preparations help her regain a sense of control, and she begins to embrace the excitement and joy of becoming a mother. As Rachel gets closer to her due date, she faces a range of emotions. She's excited but also nervous about the challenges ahead. She reflects on her journey, realizing how far she's come from the woman who was struggling to carry groceries up 3 flights of stairs. She's learned to stand up for herself, prioritize her own well-being, and trust her own instincts. The day of her baby's birth arrives, and Rachel is filled with a mixture of anticipation and nerves. With the support of her friends and family, she enters the delivery room ready to meet her child. The birth is challenging, but Rachel's strength shines through as she embraces motherhood with a newfound sense of purpose. Rachel returns home from the hospital with her newborn baby, Sophia. The first night alone is overwhelming. She's exhausted, both physically and emotionally, but her love for her daughter gives her the strength to keep going. Rachel realizes that everything she thought she knew about motherhood has changed. The quiet of the apartment feels different without Tom, but also feels like a space where she can truly begin again. A few days after bringing Sophia home, Tom unexpectedly shows up at Rachel's apartment. He's come to see his daughter, and while Rachel is hesitant, she lets him in. Tom tries to apologize for everything, his neglect, his emotional distance, and expresses a desire to be involved in Sophia's life. Rachel listens, but she remains cautious. She's not sure she can trust him again, and she knows that she has to focus on what's best for Sophia, not just what Tom wants. Rachel sets clear boundaries with Tom, explaining that he needs to prove himself before he can be part of Sophia's life. She tells him that while she's open to co-parenting, she won't tolerate any behavior that makes her feel unsupported or disrespected. Tom promises to work on himself, but Rachel remains guarded. She's learned the hard way not to rely on empty promises. With the arrival of Sophia, Rachel fully embraces the responsibility of motherhood. She adjusts to her new role, finding a rhythm in her daily routines. As challenging as it is, she starts to feel more in control of her life. She takes pride in managing everything on her own, from midnight feedings to diaper changes. Her newfound independence empowers her and pushes her to pursue personal goals, such as getting back to work once she's ready. Rachel's friends and family remain a solid support system. They help her with baby care, offer emotional support, and give her the strength to move forward. Rachel realizes that her relationship with her family is changing. Too, she's no longer the young woman who needed rescuing. She's become a mother, someone who can stand on her own. Her friends share their own experiences with motherhood, offering advice and reminding her that it's okay to ask for help when she needs it. As Rachel settles into her new life with Sophia, she begins to appreciate the small moment of motherhood. The way Sophia looks at her with wide, curious eyes, or how she smiles in her sleep. These little joys make all the sleepless nights and difficult days worthwhile. Rachel starts to understand that while being a mother is hard, it is also incredibly rewarding. She finds herself looking forward to each day with her daughter, no longer seeing it as a burden, but as a gift. One day, while out for a walk with Sophia, Rachel runs into someone from her past, Ben, an old friend from college. Ben offers Rachel a warm smile and asks about her life. After catching up briefly, they agree to meet for coffee. Their conversation is easy and lighthearted, and Rachel finds herself enjoying Ben's company. There's a spark between them. But Rachel is cautious, knowing that she's still healing from her relationship with Tom, and that she must focus on being a mother first. Over the next few weeks, Rachel continues to meet with Ben. They talk about their lives, their dreams, and the struggles they've faced. Ben listens with understanding and kindness, and Rachel begins to feel like she can be herself around him. While she's not ready for a relationship, she starts to open up to the idea of forming new connections, knowing that her happiness doesn't have to be tied to her past with Tom. As Rachel begins to feel more comfortable in her role as a single mother, she also starts balancing the demands of work and motherhood. She slowly returns to her job, adjusting to the challenges of being a working mother. It's a difficult adjustment, but Rachel is determined to make it work. She's learning to juggle her career and her responsibilities as a mother, finding strength in her ability to manage it all. Tom continues to try and improve his relationship with Rachel, offering more support and expressing his desire to be a better father. He spends more time with Sophia, but Rachel remains wary. She's not sure if his change is genuine or just an attempt to win her back. Although she sees small improvements, she remains cautious, knowing that actions speak louder than words. Rachel slowly begins to trust Tom again, but this time on her terms. She's no longer seeking validation from him. Instead, she's focused on raising Sophia in a healthy, stable environment. Rachel realizes that she doesn't need Tom to be the perfect partner, but she does need him to be a responsible, caring father. She starts to allow him more access to Sophia, but with clear boundaries in place. Sophia reaches her first major milestone. She starts crawling. Rachel is filled with pride and joy, watching her daughter explore the world around her. The small victories of motherhood are incredibly fulfilling, and Rachel feels like she's slowly building the life she always wanted, one step at a time. She documents each moment, knowing that there'll be memories she can cherish forever. Rachel settles into a new routine. She's found a balance between motherhood, work, and her personal life. She's no longer living for others' expectations, but is instead focusing on her own happiness and well-being. Although challenges remain, Rachel feels a sense of peace knowing that she is the one in control of her life. She's no longer relying on Tom or anyone else to define her happiness. One evening, while putting Sophia to bed, Rachel has a moment of clarity. She realizes that she's no longer the same woman who carried groceries up 3 flights of stairs, feeling overwhelmed and alone. She's become someone stronger, someone who can handle whatever life throws her way. Rachel feels pride in her growth, and for the first time in a long time, she feels content with who she is and where her life is heading. Rachel begins to explore new career opportunities that align with her values and passions. She starts considering a career shift that would allow her more time with Sophia while still pursuing her professional goals. This realization excites her. She's no longer confined to a life of compromise, but is instead designing a future that suits her and her daughter. Rachel finally lets go of the past, realizing that the relationship with Tom can never be what she once hoped it would be. She lets go of the anger and resentment that she had held on to for so long, choosing to focus on building a future for herself and Sophia. The process of letting go isn't easy, but it's liberating. Rachel feels free from the weight of her old life and open to the possibilities ahead. Rachel and Ben's relationship begins to evolve. They spend more time together, and Rachel finds herself enjoying his company more and more. She's cautious about jumping into anything too serious, but she feels a connection that's different from her past with Tom. Ben respects her boundaries and gives her the space she needs, allowing their relationship to grow naturally. As Rachel moves forward, she continues to grow emotionally, professionally, and personally. She feels a deep sense of purpose in her life, knowing that she is building something strong for herself and Sophia. The future no longer feels uncertain or daunting. It feels full of possibilities. Rachel embraces the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead, knowing that she can handle whatever comes her way. Rachel reflects on the incredible joy of being Sophia's mother. She understands now that while motherhood is difficult, it is also one of the most rewarding experiences of her life. Watching her daughter grow and develop fills Rachel with pride and love. She knows that no matter what happens, she will always be there for Sophia, guiding her through life with the same strength and resilience that she's learned to cultivate. Rachel begins to fully embrace self-love, understanding that she doesn't need anyone else's validation to feel worthy. She has become her own source of strength and confidence. With each passing day, she becomes more sure of herself and her abilities. The journey of motherhood has taught her that the most important relationship she has is the one with herself. Rachel's relationship with Tom continues to evolve, though it will never be the same as it once was. They find a way to co-parent effectively, putting Sophia's needs first. The relationship remains amicable, and Rachel appreciates the effort Tom puts into being a responsible father. She begins to accept that some relationships are meant to change, and that it's okay for things to evolve in a healthy way. Rachel finally feels at peace with her life. She's built a strong foundation for herself and Sophia, and she knows that she can handle whatever challenges come their way. She continues to nurture her relationship with Ben, but she is no longer rushing into anything. She enjoys the slow pace, savoring each moment of happiness as it comes. Rachel looks to the future with hope and optimism. She is no longer the woman who was carrying groceries up 3 flights of stairs. She is now a woman who has overcome immense challenges and come out stronger. She knows that there will be more obstacles ahead, but she's ready for them. She is prepared to face the future with courage, love, and strength. As Rachel continues to grow, she learns to embrace change. She understands that life is constantly evolving, and that it's okay to let go of what no longer serves her. The changes she's experienced have made her who she is today, and she's proud of the woman she's become. Rachel embraces the uncertainty of the future, knowing that it's an essential part of her journey. Rachel, Sophia, and Ben continue to build a beautiful life together. While Rachel isn't in a rush to settle down or make any major decisions, she knows that her future is full of potential. She's no longer defined by her past, but is instead shaping her future with intention and hope. Rachel starts to realize the importance of building a community around herself and Sophia. She connects with other single mothers and parents in her neighborhood, creating friendships that give her a sense of belonging. These friendships provide Rachel with a network of support, understanding, and advice. She starts organizing casual meetups for mothers, where they can share experiences, offer help, and simply enjoy each other's company. The strength of this community becomes a new source of joy and connection for Rachel. Despite all of her growth and progress, Rachel occasionally feels a return of old fears. She's unsure if she's truly doing enough as a single mother or if her choices are the right ones for Sophia. The fear of failing as a mother sometimes creeps in, especially when she faces difficult decisions. One evening, when Sophia falls ill with a fever, Rachel is overcome with anxiety, but her friends and family come together to offer support, reminding Rachel that she's doing the best she can and that perfection is not the goal. Love and care are. As time passes, Sophia reaches more milestones, first word, first steps, and her first birthday. Each milestone feels like a victory for Rachel, and she takes pride in how far she's come since the early days of her pregnancy. Rachel is no longer the exhausted woman who is carrying groceries up 3 flights of stairs. She is a confident, loving mother who is raising a daughter to know her worth. She begins to cherish these little moments with Sophia even more, knowing how quickly time passes. As Rachel continues to focus on her own growth and motherhood, her relationship with Ben begins to deepen. Over time, they go on more dates and have thoughtful conversations about their future. Although Rachel is still cautious, she starts to feel a genuine connection with Ben that's different from her past experiences. Ben is patient and understanding, and they develop a mutual respect and admiration for each other. Rachel realizes that she is no longer afraid of love, but this time, she is doing it on her terms. She and Ben begin to explore what a future together might look like. After months of careful introspection, Rachel starts to trust Ben more fully. She's able to open up about her fears, insecurities, and hopes for the future, and Ben listens without judgment. This level of emotional intimacy feels new and exciting for Rachel, who has learned to guard her heart. She realizes that she doesn't need to be afraid of vulnerability anymore. Trusting Ben doesn't mean she's letting go of her independence. Rather, she's embracing the possibility of having a partner who respects and supports her. One day, Tom calls Rachel to ask if they can meet. He wants to discuss co-parenting, and Rachel is unsure of how she feels. While part of her is still hurt by his past actions, she knows that for the sake of Sophia, they need to find a way to coexist peacefully. The meeting is tense, but it provides Rachel with clarity. Tom expresses his regrets, and they have an honest conversation about their shared responsibilities as parents. While Rachel is not ready to rekindle any romantic feelings, she sees that there's potential for them to work together as co-parents. Rachel starts to embrace the idea of redefining what family means to her. She doesn't need to conform to the traditional ideals of family that she once thought were important. Her family is what she creates it to be. Her daughter, her friends, her community, and anyone who supports and loves her for who she truly is. Rachel no longer feels the pressure to make her life fit into someone else's expectations. This realization gives her peace and helps her focus on building the family dynamic that best supports her and Sophia. Rachel begins to feel more comfortable balancing her career aspirations with motherhood. She takes a bold step and asks for a promotion at work, showing her managers the value she brings to the team. Her hard work and dedication are recognized, and she gets a promotion. This achievement boosts her confidence, reaffirming that she can be both a dedicated mother and a successful professional. The promotion also serves as a reminder that her career is still important to her, and she deserves to have both professional success and personal fulfillment. Rachel starts to take more time for herself, whether it's going for walks, reading books, or simply enjoying quiet moments at home. She understands that she doesn't need to have everything figured out or live up to anyone else's standards. She deserves to find joy in the small, simple moments of life. As she continues to nurture her relationship with Ben and care for Sophia, Rachel feels more at peace with herself. Life doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real and meaningful. As Rachel's relationship with Ben continues to develop, she starts talking about the possibility of living together. They discuss how they want to raise Sophia together and what their future might look like. For Rachel, the idea of blending families is both exciting and daunting. She's learned to trust her instincts and knows that she doesn't have to rush into anything. Ben is patient, and they agree to take things one step at a time, knowing that building a strong foundation for a family is the most important thing. Sophia turns 2, and Rachel is amazed at how much she's grown. Sophia is beginning to speak in full sentences and express her own personality. Rachel is proud of the little girl she's becoming, and she continues to enjoy each new milestone. Watching Sophia develop into a curious, confident child fills Rachel with pride, and she is thankful for the bond they share. The experience of motherhood has changed her in profound ways, and Rachel knows that her love for Sophia will always guide her. Rachel and Ben's relationship deepens as they navigate the complexities of blending their lives together. They continue to communicate openly and honestly about their needs, desires, and boundaries. Rachel realizes that love doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. The lessons she's learned through her journey of independence, self-love, and motherhood have made her appreciate the quiet moments of connection with Ben even more. By the time Sophia turns 3, Rachel and Ben have built a strong, supportive family unit. They decide to move in together, blending their households into one. Rachel is excited for this new chapter, knowing that she's not only building a life for herself, but for Sophia as well. The family dynamic is filled with love, respect, and understanding. Rachel has learned to create her own version of family, one that reflects her values and priorities. The past has shaped her, but it no longer defines her future. Rachel takes a moment to reflect on her journey, on the woman she was, and the woman she has become. She's no longer the woman who carried groceries up 3 flights of stairs in exhaustion. She's grown stronger, more confident, and more capable than she ever thought possible. As she looks at Sophia, her heart swells with pride. Rachel knows that the journey ahead will come with its own challenges, but she is ready. She has learned that with love, self-compassion, and a sense of community, she can face anything.